case things go deep, we got donuts to bail us out.
Thank
Get you
goodness.
stop having an epileptic fit. Here you go, kid. There you go.
Should I take it now?
No, next week. Yeah, now. All right, let's start this thing. Woo. Uncle Joey here with his main Goomba on his 28th birthday.
Thank you so much.
My main man, Lee Syatt. What's going on? How was your birthday today, my brother?
It was good. It was, when I first got here, it used to bum me out when I used to work on my birthday. Like, I forget what comedian has a joke about it. I think it might be Jim Gaffigan. Having to work on your birthday sucks. But it's just, it's kind of weird. It's kind of turned into, like, almost any other day. But it's just nice to get to talk to people that I haven't got to talk to in a while.
Who'd you talk to?
I talked to Steve Simone. I talked to Johnny Rock. I talked to my parents a couple times. Had lunch with Paula. It was
I had to talk you into that. You were going to have a lonely birthday. Birthday parties in L.A. You know, I drive in traffic, then there's 8 people, 9 people. They half the people in the event don't show up. This guy shows up with this guy. And then the tab comes and everybody's looking at each other with rabbit ears. And there you are. I always feel weird when I get a gift from somebody. Especially somebody from like the podcast that listens to the podcast. And I know how you justify it. I justify it by knowing that we put out a free podcast and entertains them at work for an hour. And maybe if they didn't have a podcast, they would, if they didn't have Sirius is $100, I don't know, a year or something like that. So people give you gifts, and I don't mind those. They're very thoughtful when you're on the road. They're very thoughtful, and you bring them home, and you're like, that was a fucking wallet. I love my old wallet. You know what I'm saying? I stay with a wallet till I'm broke, and I throw it away. Once you're broke, then you throw the wallet away. It's a kiss of death. But if it's a good wallet, if you're okay with it, you're making a little money, keep the wallet. I don't care if the flaps are falling off. If it's bringing you Gitas.
Wallet really begins when it starts falling apart.
Yeah, when it starts falling apart, then you got to make adjustments. You got to put that picture of grandma in the drawer instead of carry. She's dead. You cash the check. It's over. She's on some planet. Who knows? I don't know. It's just really weird that I just don't like spending birthdays. Ever since that birthday really solidified it with me. Like I said, I don't want to go to an amusement park. I don't want to have nothing. I don't want 100 happy birthdays on Facebook or MySpace. I just want you to just treat me normally. That's it. I don't want to go to a party. I don't want to wear kazoo hats. I do it at the house now for mercy. We got a Carvel cake tonight. Did we not?
Absolutely,
a small one.
Oh, yeah, it was nice.
And it was delicious. So the Diaz family tradition is when there's a birthday, you get a small Carvel cake, whether you want it or not. Whether you want it or not, that's it. That's the best we could do for you, is a small Carvel cake.
She was so excited. I came in, she was like, we have a surprise. There's cake. And I was like, oh. And there's nothing, I knew it was going to be a Carvel cake because it's you. Like, you never, there's no other cake for you. There's no vanilla cake. Do you ever have cake like that, or you're a Carvel man?
Listen, there's 2 cakes I like. There's that Carvel cake and that chocolate death from that restaurant you go to over in Burbank.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. I'm part of it. After a while, all cake tastes the same. It all tastes like somebody made it from Betty Crocker, and that drives me crazy. They're still delicious. And you know you're getting diabetes. Like, as you're eating it, look at the calorie count on it. It's like each apple pie is 600 calories.
I never even tried those. So are those like just little handheld apple pies
yeah,
at 7-Eleven?
those Hostess pies that now everybody makes, like the ISIS makes one, took over the company. They make one, and then Hostess has made it since Jesus left Chicago. And also 7-Eleven steals the idea.
How are the ISIS ones? Are the ISIS ones good?
They're not bad. They're not bad. I had one night in desperation somewhere. They're not bad. I love those apple pies. While my mother was alive, there was conversations about me moving down there because there was a school down there called Loyola, a private military school or some shit. And they had threatened me with that school. And Rodolfo always wanted me closer to him anyway because he always felt guilty about my dad dying. But when I was a kid, they were strict with their kids. And let me tell you something. We used to go to restaurants constantly because they had dough. So the old man would take us to seafood restaurants, and those kids were well-behaved. And I was always well-behaved because my mom took me to restaurants, and she would smack me out if I embarrassed her. But it's so amazing how I look back at the discipline they had, and I look at how they turned out, and it doesn't surprise me. If you came to me tomorrow and said, you know what, Joey, I love doing the podcast with you. I love eating cake and donuts that Becky brings. You know what's bothering me lately? I'm going to go to law school. I love Paula. I'm Jewish. Let me become an attorney, and I'll become a podcast attorney. You come to me one day and go, let me get the rest of that acid. And you probably eat it by yourself and rent a hotel room in North Hollywood. Take 2 joints with you, order a pizza, and just sit there for 8 hours. And just think it over. That's what I used to do at that age, guys. I didn't take no ADD pill or Adderalls or no... I didn't take none of that stuff. I took microdot acid to make me focus on whatever I was going through. Let me see him go down there and put up the Gitas, because at the end of the line, this is it. This is it. Gitas, how much you putting up? What are you... I don't know if it's your... And I'm not insulting you. I don't know if it's your generation gap, because my wife is the same way. My wife and I had a discussion the other day in the living room. About 4 in the morning, I got up and she came outside. And I said something. Can you imagine? Do you remember that night you drove me to the Martel Cartel to get coke? And you didn't really know, but you know. At 4 in the morning, I left you in the car and I was in there for 15 minutes. And she goes, I remember sitting out there thinking, I should just leave this guy now, go home, pack my bags and leave. But she goes, I didn't know how it was going to play out. I go, look how it did play out. You ended up with a beautiful child. We ended up married. We're happy, you know. So at this point somewhere, you have to believe that there is some type of God out there. Because I'll never forget that night, her waiting outside. And I've never done that to anybody. Like, I've never, ever made somebody drive me like that over there. I've usually been the one that's driven. She was just, I was walking out the door to walk there. And she was pulling up. And she goes, where are you going to go? And I go, I got to stop by Dante's. And she goes, okay, I'll give you a ride. And I never forget how bad I felt. But life goes on. See, you never know where your relationship is going to go. That's it. I don't even know why I told you that. At least I had. Just don't be scared. If somebody offers you something, if you love them to death, and you've known them for 15 years, wait until they fuck them. What is your problem, Lee? 1,000 milligrams. That's how deep you went tonight, Lisa. I had.
Yes, sir.
We're in deep training. Look at me. I'm in deep training, Lisa. I had. My eyeballs are bleeding. That's
mine too.
Where you headed tonight? For the fight? You're not going to a strip club or a Chinese place? Nothing?
Tonight I'm going home to bed.
All right.
Like a gentleman. No, but it's what I would tell people is honestly do it twice, because like if you can do what I did and like calm. Because people are gonna be scared, man. They keep hammering into us how bad drugs are, and that's all we ever hear is don't do drugs, and it's acid and it tastes weird.
When you came to California, Lee, you never thought that you would be doing the acid at your job.
Never.
Okay, Lee? But let me explain something to you, Lee. Sometimes, do you think when I woke up one day, I aspired to take a hit of acid, or I aspired to do heroin, I aspired to do blow? No, I never aspired. This was a very tiny white line. And I even took some off it just to do a taste, just to make sure, and then I did the other little centimeter of dust. And that was it. It's not like I went and got high the next day, you follow me?
You know what, I tend to like this stuff. I have an addictive personality, so I'm glad I'm scared of that stuff. Like I've only even seen cocaine like once, and it was just for like a second. Like I'm worried, like if I did that, I'd be doing it. Like
no, it's not. Doesn't fit you. You know, I bust your balls and tell you about heroin. I would never bring heroin around you.
Oh, I know.
I would never bring nothing around you. Number one, that I would never do. I would never bring meth in here. I would never bring blow in here. I wouldn't bring nothing like that in this studio. The worst thing I would bring in here is like a 2,000 milligram star. Which, worst case scenario, we go to the hospital. Like, whatever that girl, they give you some tranquilizers and you spend the night in there, you sleep the night. Then Obamacare takes care of the rest, you know what I'm saying? You put it on the arm with Obamacare. What do you want me to pay a month? Sometimes you eat an edible. Right or wrong? That's the worst thing that's going to happen to you. We don't drink in here, really. I'd love to get a few bottles of booze in here, but I know they're just sitting here. They were just sitting there. I'm
Yeah,
not going to drink it.
we never drink.
It gives me desires that I don't need to understand. You follow me? That's it. It's July, what is it, 20th already?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's it. The summer's half gone. So yesterday, I go over to this place, guys. Pretty impressive. You go to Indochino.com, all right? And you click on location, all right? And let's say you're a man, whatever, and you're looking for suits. Let me tell you what happened. So you click on location, and all of a sudden you press in Texas, and let's say you live in an hour out of Houston. You press, all of a sudden it comes out Galleria Mall in Houston, and then it has, do you want to make an appointment? And you click that, and all of a sudden it says, when is the appointment? Blah, 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 blah. You make it, what time, and they said appointment set, and that's it. You go down there, you park, you walk in, and you know me, dog, I'm trying to look for a complaint. I get there, there's parking 10 feet away. I walk in, I tell the lady what my name is. I'm sorry, I'm 3 minutes late. She goes, don't worry about it. Boom, I sit down. She asked me 14 questions, 15 questions. You know me, I don't like questions, but I didn't get pissed off either. And then she asked me to look at the fabric. Then she asked me to look at the mannequins with the suits on and see what I wanted. Whether I wanted 2 buttons, whether I wanted the same color on the back of the collar. Just little things that you never think of. That now you have a choice putting there or not. The design for inside the suit, for the lining. Then for another 5 minutes they take 3 pictures of you. What you look like. I went on there looking like Team Bleach with jeans and sneakers. I didn't know. I was in Beverly Hills, people, with white people. Real white people. They take a couple pictures of me. Boom. 25 minutes later, I'm out of there. I get a suit in 5 weeks. You understand me? Again, go to Indochina.com.
Indochino, right?
Indochino.com. What's the promo code?
Church.
CHURCH. And you get any premium suit for $399. You go to BlueApron.com. With BlueApron.com, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Blue Apron will deliver. Blue Apron knows when you cook with incredible ingredients. Blue Apron is bringing you the best. By Blue Aprons, if you don't want a billy goat sent to your house while they're cooking, you're washing your monkey. Ooh. And from Blue Apron, go ahead, Lee. You gonna say something? No?
It sounds delicious.
Check out this week's menu. Free. And you get free. BlueApron.com/Joey. With Blue Apron, go to BlueApron.com. Go to BlueApron.com right now. On it.com. Anyway, stay black. Lee, don't forget about me. Uncle Joey here, my main little brother, Lee Syatt. First off, we got to open up on an apology. I get a call Monday from Lee Syatt about 4 o'clock that he came over here and the lights wouldn't turn on and the air was off. He turned on the computer. You know, Lee confuses me with his jargon. So let me tell you the other side. Sunday, I have a great weekend with the family. I get off the antibiotics. You know me. I'm free and clear. I'm doing some kettlebells. I'm walking the neighborhood. Sunday morning, I go to jiu-jitsu 12 o'clock class. Great day. I breathe. I get beat up. No different than any other day. Monday, I go, let me go back there. And I had a meeting on Tuesday. And we had episode 400 Monday night. We had Esther Koo, and we had Dice tonight. So we had the weekend planned. Everything's beautiful, ready to go. I go to jiu-jitsu at 12, and I stay for the mobility class. It's a little hot here, but I'm not blaming it on the heat. During the mobility class, I feel a little bots. I feel a little bit...
in your stomach or where?
My whole body. Like you ever doing something and your whole body just feels like it just goes zzz, zzz. So you shake it off a little bit. I bring a watermelon protein drink, 29 grams of protein. You mix it with 16 ounces of water.
Okay. Just
to calm me down for a little while, and I drive home. On this particular day, I had drank that already, but Lee, I was thirsty. So I go to the gas station by Alberto's, and I get a water and some horrible tasting Gatorade. Like, I haven't drank Gatorade in 20 years.
Not all sugar.
So I just get Gatorade because it's a hot day, and that's what people say to do to rehydrate yourself. And you have to
electrolytes.
First off, if anybody knows anything about anything, you got a Pedialyte.
Right, I've heard of Pedialyte when you get sick.
Yeah, Pedialyte when you get sick, when you have that type of. So I'm driving home, and all of a sudden my body's tightening up.
And it's scary when you're driving.
Oh, I'm making a left, I make a right, I get onto Burbank Boulevard. I'm driving home, and I feel that zzz, zzz in my body again. I get home, it feels like death. Now, when I was a young kid, I used to play basketball. Between the humidity and being out there all day, all I would do is drink iced teas from the little dairy thing. Cardboard container, like that milk comes in.
No way.
Like the kids are missing. This is 1975, Lee. That's how iced tea came. There was only maybe 2 brands of iced teas. There was Lipton in a can, which was not bad. Lipton in a can is not bad if you doped it up. Again, you got to take it home, put it over ice, squeeze some lemon, a little teaspoon of real sugar. Bam! You got yourself a nice iced tea. You are getting sleepy. This is the new evolution of the future. I've also had the weirdest situation happen this year. Now, last year, there's a lot of comics that don't like the improv chain. Out of all the people I've had problems with in comedy that didn't like me, one guy I grew a relationship with was the guy that first started me in the Dirty Show in Brea. Well, guess what? That guy rose in the ranks. So me and him started that room together. He taught me how to do marketing for comedy clubs in a lot of ways. He said for me to do a certain thing, and I added my twist to it. And that Brea room became successful. That's how all this started, with Brea. If you really want to get down to it. It was that one time a month in Brea, building that little first 300 people that would come down and watch Yoshi and watch Martin Moreno and watch Ricky Cruz and watch just Johnny Rock and watch just a bunch of fun guys. We would just have a fun time. Drive to Brea in a rush, smoke dope. We would cut banana bread and put it in the back. You remember that, right?
I think I came right after.
Well, you taped the CD there, didn't you?
Yeah. That's where we taped the CD.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it really solidified. So while we were there, he grew. And he grew again, and he grew again. Well, you know what, man? I booked one of his clubs, and I had to cancel because of a movie. Or because of Marin or something. Something happened, I had to cancel. And I went back the next year, and you know what, man? I went up there for terrible, terrible, terrible money. Now, I could have done 2 things. I could have raised my hand and canceled it again, or I could have had my agent call back and renegotiate. I thought about the situation for a minute, and I go, you know what? I agreed to this. I canceled. I profited on the movie. Now I gotta, what's the line you hate from Pink Floyd?
Reap what you sow.
I gotta reap what I sow. So guess what? I went up there, and I did good on stage. I worked as hard as I could. And Saturday, before I got on stage, the manager comes in, he goes, hey man, you got a call in the office. And I went to the office, and it was that guy from Brea. And he goes, hey man, I talked to the club and I looked at the numbers. I'm giving you a bonus because you stood up to your deal. Thank you very much. And I'm going to give you a bonus in all the other clubs for you sticking to your deal. I didn't say a word, Lee. I could have been a scumbag and had him call up and bumped him for what? The extra nickel? The extra $8.50?
And it's so short-sighted. It would have been short-sighted.
You agreed to something, now you got to do it. You were short-sighted, you canceled, you got.
It's always weird when people ask for money. I never want it. That's. It's awkward.
Lee, you live and learn.
Oh no!
The other night, Lee told me he got wings from where?
Pizza Hut.
Now wait a second. No.
Okay, I went to Big Wings once. I don't like Big Wings.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The one I had an experience that was not good. There's no Buffalo Wild Wings that close. You one time, for your honors, for Exhibit A, one time you had Pizza Hut at your daughter's event, I think, and it was delicious.
She's 3. She wanted pizza when you're 3 and you want pizza, first of all the pizza is so bad in this town that it doesn't matter. The reason why I got Pizza Hut is because on Friday at school, they get Pizza Hut. So when she told me she wanted pizza, I got Pizza Hut. Did I enjoy it? I thought it was garbage.
I didn't see you saying it was garbage.
Well, I can't hurt her feelings and say this pizza sucks.
She doesn't know if you eat all the slices.
She eats the cheese. My point taken, that was the only time I ordered Lee, because there was a 3-year-old that wanted pizza, and I wanted to get her the same pizza they eat at the school.
Well,
I would never.
Well, then I'm a 3-year-old at heart.
Ever in my wildest imagination, just because of something embedded in me, would I disrespect who I am at any level, at any point in my life. Even when I was doing 8 balls of blow and I had no respect for myself, would I disrespect myself by eating that pizza and letting people know I gave up on society? So you just called down there and got 6 wings, and they delivered.
No, I got 8 wings, and I picked it up.
8 wings. You went all the way down there for 8 AIDS-infested
I was already there, and they were good. They were big wings.
I just can't believe that. You have no idea. That you see the workout he posted today, guys? I got to be honest with you guys. Half you guys that listen to the podcast cannot do that workout he did today. And I know somewhere Lee stopped and breathed heavy.
No.
But I will tell you, a lot of people can't do that. That's what pisses me off about Lee.
It's heavy the whole time.
That at this age, he puts this much work in to go over there and get yourself 8 wings that are not only... I mean, listen, we're all trying to be individuals here in this time of fakeness. You know, if you were watching this... guys, I was trying to explain this to my wife. My wife is a Gentile. I don't know, guys. I don't know if it was a retardation. I don't know if it's because my grandmother was married to a second cousin. I don't know what it is. But when I was a kid, I didn't really care for what society cared about. There was just something weird about the media to me growing up. I didn't like how they'd say things. I didn't like how they'd interview people. I don't know, Lee. I was always a weird kid.
It just didn't add up to you.
You know, as I got older, I didn't like Saturday Night Live. I didn't believe when people come up to me and tell me these things like I'm looking at them like, and I feel like there's a lot of people like that, you know, just sometimes we all do. When I went through that divorce, that's all I thought about. You know, I was involved with my daughter in the divorce, and my feelings were hurt, so all we had to do was talk for 3 minutes, and I would tell you about my anger, and we're going deep this weekend, you understand me?
But it's actually where we went for our first anniversary.
Now, when you go to these beach places, do you go on computer sites, Expedia and stuff like that, and check it out? I'm just curious. I want to see what you do.
Absolutely, dude. I spent so much time.
Now, what website do you go on when you want to travel?
I went on all of them. I went on Trivago, which I kind of like, except when I went on, it said there was a certain deal, and then when you click on it, suddenly it's not available. What I actually did, and this is how we actually got it the first time, and you're going to think I'm a cheap bastard, but it actually worked out. They all have these things like, we're not going to tell you where you're going to stay, but it's this star level. So we did that 2 years ago, and I literally spent like 14 hours one day looking at different things. I told you I wanted to go to Palm Springs, but you're like, that takes 3 hours some days, so I was like, I don't want to drive that long. So, and I decided on Newport.
Listen, who wants to go to the desert? A horse with no name. You live in California. What are you gonna do in the desert? Walk around, get bit by a snake?
But we don't do anything anyway. We just like hanging out.
You just like hanging out and get room service and watching TV. I ain't mad at you.
So yeah, so that's at like 2 a.m. I think it was actually the night I took acid. Yeah, at 2 a.m. I was just like, I'm just gonna do one of those deals again, and I got it's a beautiful hotel. It's like the Fairmont Newport, and I called up at 2 a.m. high on acid, and I was like, hey man, we're here for our anniversary. Can we get like a nice room? He's like, oh yeah, I see on here you have a such and such room facing the pool area. I was like, can I get it high up? He's like, sure. I called it 2 a.m. high on acid.
So let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
How high do you want to get? What if there's an earthquake? You and Paula got to jump. Like 2 mooks in the Mookville. You get the first or the second floor.
You can't get because then there's parties and they're walking around and they're loud people. We don't want to be away from
You're
that.
facing the pool anyway. You're not gonna really sleep late, and it's a bungalow beach. You're gonna hear people.
No, it's up high. It's good. And then
what if there's an earthquake? You gotta jump.
No, I can't live like that. Because you know what happened? Today I was driving back from Pasadena, and they have those highway overpasses and underpasses where you're either on like big stilts or you're passing under a highway. And as you're doing it, you're just like, I'm gonna die one day going under one of these because it's just gonna fall off and smush me, or I'm gonna be on top of it and it's gonna fall and I'm gonna crash and fall. So you can't let that fear ruin your life. Get a higher room.
Again, what if you're on the 6th floor and there's a fire? You gotta jump. You and Paula. Get the 2nd floor. Cut a deal, will you? You want to be up there. Last week I checked into a hotel. They put me on the 12th floor.
That's a good floor.
I just mad dogged the guy. He goes, "You kidding me? Put me on the 2nd floor. Gonna put me on the 12th floor. There's a fire. I gotta jump out. 2, 3. You could jump and live. If there's an explosion on the 3rd floor, God forbid, you've been a good soul. You won't blow up. That gives you a chance to wake up, pack up the sleep apnea machine, and take your best jump. You understand me? Jump, keep your legs light. You'll break both ankles, but you live. The 12th floor, you ain't gonna live, dog. You're gonna go down like a missile. You're gonna have a heart attack in the air. I know you.
Yeah, but what do you say to the person on the phone? You're like, hey, man.
No, listen.
What if there's an earthquake?
I like the 3rd floor.
Like the 3rd floor?
That's right. I feel lucky. I feel more comfortable on the 3rd floor. What would it cost me to put me in the 3rd floor? Where it's quiet. That's how you work. If there's an emergency, and it's even better if you're closer to the back door. You know why?
You can sneak out.
And smoke dope out there and sneak back into your room, and they blame it on the dude on the 4th floor because you woke up to the 4th floor and smoked a joint. They don't have cameras in those hallways. A lot of times I go to these towns and freeze. What do you think? I'm going to walk around like Johnny Mook? I'm in a nice hotel. I look around. I open up the door. I take an elevator up. I do a bunch of stunts. Sometimes the roof is open.
You cause terror. Someone's like, I don't smoke pot. I promise.
Listen to me, dog. I'll go up to
it's like an AA floor.
I'll go up 3 or 4 floors up, go into the hallway and smoke dope and leave the joint on the pipe for them burning. And then get on the elevator. I'll put like mint in my mouth and take 3 hits of the vapor pen, and I'll get back to the elevator. As long as I get to my room unseen, within 10 minutes the whole hotel will be on the 12th floor. That's how you run. Anybody can smoke reefer when everybody's hip-hop do. Smoke reefer when you have blood blisters in your throat and you watch them blow up as you're doing bong hits. That's when you're smoking pot.
I don't want to share.
You don't want to what?
What are your blood blisters in your throat that are exploding? Stop smoking for a few days. What?
No, that was years ago. Not blood blisters. You got those little throat polyps, and they stick on there. When you cough out, they spit out like a little piece of meat behind your tooth. And you take them and you break them up and you sniff them. You never broke up a throat polyp. What's wrong with you? One of those yellow balls of death that comes out of your throat?
I've never lived, I guess.
You'll be smoking up some throat polyps. I don't even know. TJ Maxx to the fat man section. One time I bought a magician's. One time, listen, I was opening up. I was doing the Sunflower Casino, one of those, and I was opening up for Diane Ford and Dave Attell. And she says, you're emceeing, so you got to wear some type of tuxedo. So they had no tuxedos. I went down to Melrose. I had the small 50. All they had in my size was a guy that was a magician. And decided to quit, so he went down there and dropped off his gear.
A fat magician?
I don't have the tux. I lit it on fire. But I still have the picture of my magician top. Here's where it gets even worse, guys. And guess who's dead? Both Dave Attell canceled. And whoever else I was supposed to work with. I was opening up for Tim Allen. How embarrassed was I? Indochino. 100% merino wool suit. This Indochino, Indochino.com. Do me a favor. Go to Indochino.com. Indochino. Go to Indochino.com right now. Onnit came through for me this week. But do me a favor. Onnit's always on top. Onnit never stops. But you know what? Go to Onnit.com. Go to Onnit.com. I love you guys. See you next week. Thank you for the love and support. The Church of What's Happening Now. Sunday, September 11th. Respect. You don't want to know. They'll never let you know. When you ask the reasons why, that's too deep. Turn that thing off. I just saw myself playing basketball in 1977 and shit with skinny legs. What's going on, Lee Syatt?
I never had skinny legs.
What's going on?
What's going on? I had a good week. I went with you to the show. I love going to comedy shows, man. I was thinking about it today. I've been going to comedy shows. I was one of the nerds. My mom, you're going to Gotham in a couple weeks. My mom, when I was 16, 17, took my brother and we went to Gotham. There's something. Even before I knew anything about comedy or knew anything about going, it just, to me, it blows anything out of the water. Sports, you can't really see. If it's a good movie, that's maybe on par. But a good comedy show.
Do you anticipate for laughter?
Oh, I've never wanted a guy to die a slow death. I always go.
Anticipation laughter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it got to a point like John Panette a few years ago. He passed away, or a couple years ago. My whole family and my family's best friend family, all the parents and stuff got along. We watched it. We went on New Year's Eve. I must have been 15, 16. We went and saw John Panette as a family for New Year's Eve.
See, I was more of a music guy at that age. I liked live entertainment, but I liked music, and I liked music at a big scale, but then again, I liked music at a small scale. Bands would rehearse at my mom's bar when I was a kid in the daytime. Spanish bands, whatever. There was one particular band that always rehearsed at my mom's bar in the daytime in the back, from 11 to 12 in the summertime. If you got the syringe, take a chance. I would work with different telemarketing people, and telemarketing people, when an account dries up, they go to different firms. So I was selling cigars, but the company I worked for decided they were just going to open up a cigar store and do the calls from there, and they were going to change it all around. There was not going to be an early morning shift anymore. So I said, I got to find something else to sell. So I went and sold venture capital. What is that when you just invest money?
Yeah, VC, venture capital.
Venture capital people, because these people had this idea of a TV show, okay? But the TV show was going to get written by this writer who had written on this other TV show that was successful on Disney for 12 seasons, blah, 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 blah. These are the characters, and this is what the show's about. Not only are we doing that, and this is when I saw it from an outsider's point of view, they were also selling the merchandise rights
to the show.
So they were going to have a guitar, a drums, posters, lights. Right there, I knew it was a disaster, because you're not focusing. They had one page about the storyline and 82 pages about the marketing they were going to do. Right there, I learned that. I learned it right there. Nobody taught it to me. I saw it. I saw how far ahead of the game people get.
Yeah, it's easy to do. It's fun.
And no, it's not fun.
It's not fun when it comes at.
There's a difference. Right now, I'm visualizing my special. That's one thing, but I'm not visualizing it in Madison Square Garden, Jay-Z jumping up and down.
No, but it'd be like if you were visualizing the special but not going out this month.
Right. Yeah, no. But when you want to sell those type of things, sometimes people get ahead of themselves. Well, think of the movie rights. And right there I know, because you look worried about money. Right there when you tell me that you're going to get this and get the movie rights, and think of all the hats we could sell at the premiere at $22.50 a hat, right there I know you have nothing. And the people around you are cheerleading that. We used to do with Lee. Dun, 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 dun. All right, cut that right there, Lee. I want you to find Frank Sinatra. I want to be around.
Okay.
I'm going to teach you a little lesson. We're getting the party started, Lee. It's Monday, September 11th, and we're celebrating by doing a special podcast.
Right.
Out of respect. That's the least we could do. I don't want to come on here and have a wine fest or whatever. All I want to do is let them know I acknowledge them. Here you go. There you go. Who should say you like me? These are great. All these need is whipped cream. This is the best flavor I've ever tasted in my life. You know why? Because there's no weed in it. There's no milligrams in it.
50, yeah.
But that chocolate from Chiba Chew is very good.
It is.
I just saw you go like this, 2 times. Listen to Frank Sinatra's version. Uh-oh. Bam! We got 2 more bags of starters here. This turned into a good party tonight, see? I mean, you and I always get creative. And if I look, I know there's a hit of acid somewhere in this office. You understand me?
Let's hope not.
Who takes care of you like me, Lee? Nobody. Right now, you'd be at home with Paula somewhere, rubbing your feet, watching bad TV. This is James Brown. This is amazing. 3 completely different, well, Sinatra and whatever crooners. A black dude that's tremendous, and 2 crooners singing the same song with 2 different twists on it. It just goes to show you can cook spaghetti 50 different ways. You know what I'm saying, Lee?
I feel like Paula made me spaghetti carbonara last night.
What was in it?
It's like the one with a little bit of bacon in it, and then like a little bit of just butter and egg, and she just like...
With an egg yolk?
Yeah.
Or the whole egg?
I don't know. She made it.
And then you put Parmesan cheese.
She made it for me. She learned how to make it in Italy.
Italy. Look at you. She brought back recipes from Italy. It's got to be pasta with an egg, butter, more butter.
No, but we did. She only made one. We only had one bowl. We didn't get crazy.
Did you use spray butter? Right?
No. She wouldn't.
For God's sake, I hope you didn't use spray butter. You get worse and worse.
She wouldn't. She made it. She wouldn't use spray butter. She thinks the same way.
Good. Does she take and throw it in the garbage?
Nah, she doesn't go to that level yet.
Well, don't ever have me over your house. It's the first time you go to the bathroom, I'll throw that thing out. I wanted a tab when I was a kid. I started throwing away people's ashtrays.
Why?
Because I hated them. I hated ashtrays. So when people weren't looking, I'd throw their ashtrays away.
Why didn't you like ashtrays?
My friend George,
okay.
I threw all his ashtrays away when he lived with me in Boulder. I'd ask him if he was crazy. I know what you're talking about. Why would I take your ashtray? I don't smoke pot. I only smoke pot. I smoke it outside.
What do about this time?
Yeah. Like one night, Lee called and we had a 2-hour conversation about a drug network. Like Lee was asking me about my friend who sells coke, and I was telling Lee that I've known these guys in Hollywood. That I've been selling. I've known them since '97. I met them through a white Jewish dude named White Lightning. Then White Lightning used to sell weed. He used to date a black chick that used to be the same coke dealer, and he didn't know it. He thought they were just friends. And she had a kid, and she was half Jamaican, and he was this Jewish dude that you could just take money from him. At the time, Josh Wolf had an apartment in his building, and he would be very paranoid about hiding his weed in his apartment. So he would hide in the parking garage, and we would steal it once a month. Then when he caught on, he started hiding in some girl's apartment. He'd have 3-4 pounds at a time, because that's what he does. He's a promoter / weed dealer. So if you want to buy the good weed, you got to go to the parties and pay $20 to get in and buy weed. It was a great scam he had going on. What was I talking about? Oh.
Stealing Josh Wolf's weed.
So, no, we're talking about a drug thing.
Oh, yeah, the people who you met, your drug dealer in Hollywood.
So I met this kid, and I went over there a few times. The coke was good. You know, at this time, I didn't want to go to the store and buy it all the time. You know, when you're a junkie, you got to have a couple different outlets. Nobody catches on to what you're doing. So I had El Compadre. I had the Comedy Store, and I met this guy, and he goes, he can get good coke, so he introduced me to this kid, and I would go over there. It was walking distance from my house, which is perfect in Hollywood, and I would walk over there and buy coke from him. It was him and a white dude at the time. And I would go over there and say hello, and they were playing those games. They were playing those stupid video games at the court. Then I went over there one time, and they had stitches. They got robbed. They told me they didn't have a gun. I go, what type of drug dealers don't have guns? So I went and got them a piece.
How nice of you.
Yeah, and then we became friends ever since. And then I started going over there, but you were asking me their existence, how he still is in business. That was the conversation we had this night.
How he could survive and not go to jail. Like how he could survive and make a living.
At this time right now, I talk to him once a month.
Okay.
And I know what type of action he does. I know how he does it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how he moves. He's got kids, and he's very careful.
Okay.
He's ultra careful. Even years ago, very careful. Very careful.
All right.
He controlled everything from A to Z. Do you follow me?
In his whole life, or just
this operation he had. He would pick up at a certain place an hour away from here. But there's no days off. And people don't understand that. And when you have to stick to that program, like there's always something to do. What we always talk about. There's always something to do. Don't tell me there's nothing. There's something to do. You know what? Get up, change the light bulbs. Put that one over there and put that one over there. There's something to do. That Led Zeppelin thing got dust on it. There's always something to do. I said to you, take the other perspective. We were always talking about an ad salesperson.
Right.
I said, start making calls. How much success did you have? Tremendous.
0.
No, you did great.
Oh, well, before.
Well, no. We had the reefer with the pin. They didn't want to lift the rock. You had the reefer people with the license and the app.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
like
no. You started getting a couple, and now you realize that you come in here on Sundays sometimes, and you come in, and you know what? This is a 6-day-a-week job for you.
Oh yeah.
And guess what? If you open up this podcast business, sorry, Charlie. This is a 7-day-a-week job. And if there's a leak on Friday night and you're in the movies with Paula, jumping up and down, watching one of those bad movies, guess what? You got to show up at that leak.
Oh, I know. It's to be quite honest, I'm not tired, but like it's like we were talking about. Did I think if Paula was ready? This is more work. And it's just it's the hours are weird. It's not that I don't enjoy it and love it and I'm pushing through it, but it's a grind. It's at certain points.
The podcast.
Not just the podcast, but then driving down to meet to do podcasts in Pasadena or in Beverly Hills or something like that, or sending emails, and it's. Like you just said earlier today that you're busy. You said you've been busy for years, so you're getting busier. Like it's just getting. I'm at a different point of being busy, and I'm like still getting used to it.
Well, you're learning all the possibilities that we could do with the podcast.
Right. Yeah.
So right now you're exploring a lot of them where I don't have the time to explore a lot of them. On the other situation, and I gotta tell you something. I'm just as busy as I am with stand-up. Do me a favor. Go to Onnit.com right now. Whether you're a hiker, a jiu-jitsu guy, a weightlifter, a kettlebell lifter, Onnit has something for you to optimize your workout and your life. Do me a favor. Go to Onnit.com right now. I'd like to thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for the love.